Is this on? Yes. All right. Karibuni sana to Vision 2030. What do we call Vision 2030 in Swahili? Now that we say Swahili is a national language. Another airtime. Kuna mahali unatapatapa. How do we call it? He's given the guideline. Yes? Hiyo kwanza ime step out kidogo. Uko kwa wrong lane. Back to the lane. Hakuna muhistasari hapa ama methali. Director Idi, unaona kama amepata? Kitu kama hiyo. Unaitwa nani? David. Tafuta Beatrice after this. You see how interesting it is? Yes. Bow our heads and pray this good morning. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, we thank you. We honor you. We praise you for this far that, Lord, you have brought us. We thank you for the generation that you have given unto us. We thank you because we have a beautiful country. We pray that as we deliberate on today's discussions, you are going to pave the roadmap for the future that we anticipate to be better than today. It is in Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I want us to get to know each other. Who is the student leader from for Kuesa, that is? You are who? I will give you the opportunity to coordinate for KU. Meanwhile, let me introduce the Vision 2030 team, starting with our directors.
Good morning, colleagues. You know you are colleagues because we are all economists, Sivyo. I'm Idi Masood, Director Enablers at the Secretariat. Thank you. Karibuni sana.
Assalamu alaikum. Director anasema we all colleagues. Sindio? Ismail Maruk, Director Economic and Macro Pillar at the Kenya Vision 2030. Karibuni sana nyote.
Good morning. Timothy Wawero, Deputy Director, Economic and Macro. Welcome. Karibuni sana.
Thanks, Tim. We have our assistants here.
Good morning. My name is Paul Otieno, Communication Assistant. Welcome to Kenya Vision 2030.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Suleiman Munywa. I'm the Principal Public Relations Officer, Kenya Vision 2030. Karibuni. And for the record, all this is going live online, so please let your friends know, those who could not attend, that they can still be part of the agenda, and we will be picking up their comments and questions, and we'll share them in the plenary later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Suleiman. Suleiman is our PR and Communications Officer, and therefore you can see he's trying to tell you to communicate.
Good morning, everyone. Comrades Power, Comrades Fever, Emoy, Program Assistant, Kenya Vision 2030, and the Enablers Department. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamis Muhammad, Human Resources Assistant.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Assistant.
Yes, good morning. My name is Eric Ondara, the Records Management Officer.
Good morning. Comrades Power. Comrades Power. My name is Medina Denge, Program Assistant, Social Political Directorate. Karibuni sana.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brandon Kimani. I'm a Program Assistant under the Economic and Macro Pillar. You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maya Skerubo, ICT Assistant, Vision 2030. Good morning, guys. Sylvester Indo from Social and Political Department. Thank you.
Thank you, VDS team. Nasikia wakiuliza ni fire si fire. Ni noma si noma. We have other assistants that we have onboarded for this particular purpose, and I'll give them an opportunity before I hand over to KU.
Morning. My name is Victor Mbatia. I'm a sign language interpreter. Thank you. And my colleague is Roslyn Njuguna. She's my co-interpreter.
Good morning. My name is Charles Karuga, Media.
Good morning. My name is Ronnie Larry, Media.
Thank you. You know, Vision 2030 is so inclusive, and therefore we introduce everyone. Now I'll give it back to KU. You introduce your team.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, before we start, I want us to show them how we usually do it at KU. Economist power. Economist power. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kenya Vision 2030 Secretariat, for this opportunity to engage with the next generation of economists. I will move swiftly to my team, my very able team. They will do a brief introduction of themselves, just their name and their position in the association.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Vitongo Ashira. I am the Deputy Director of the Research Department in Kenyatta University and also in Kuesa organization. Thank you.
Morning, once again. My name is David Macau. In the association, I serve as the Auditor General, and I am a fourth-year student taking Economics and Finance. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tracy Wangoi. I am a member of the Kuesa team.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ray Harmony, a member of Kuesa.
Good morning, team. Good morning once again. And I'm Alex Maina, also a member of the team.
Good morning. My name is Steven, a Kuesa member.
Good morning. My name is Lucy Wanjiko, Kuesa member.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maad Absilan. I'm a Kuesa member.
Good morning. I'm Doreen William, a Kuesa member.
Good morning. I'm Nashiluni Lydia, Kuesa member.
Good morning. I'm Alex Kisumbe, Kuesa member.
Good morning, everyone. I go by Ismail Chege. I am a Kuesa member. I'm a digital marketer also. I help professionals build their brands and grow in their careers. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Shanice Jambi. I'm a third economics student. I'm also the Deputy Secretary General, Kuesa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nzia Ndolo, a Kuesa member.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Colley, a Kuesa member.
Good morning. My name is Amina Barasa, a Kuesa member.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maina Njoroge. I'm a Kuesa member.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gloria Wayua. I'm a second-year student pursuing business, and I am representing the marketing committee of Kuesa.
Thank you so very much. At least now we know each other. And to congratulate you.
And lastly, my name is Berry Lotema. I am the vice chair for the association. Apologies from my chair. My chair is Lenny Mtembei. He couldn't make it to this engagement today. Thank you so much, Kenya Vision 2030. a brief history about the association. Kuesa is simply Kenyatta University Economics Students Association. As an association, our main aim is to bridge the gap between economic theory and the corporate world. And I'm really thankful to Kenya Vision 2030 for enabling us to be here and to partner with us for this Ruwaza gathering. And we look forward to a fruitful engagement with the team. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. First of all, congratulations to all of you for having joined the association. This is how leadership is groomed. This is how you get to be in touch with what is also happening in the corporate world. And I hear that is actually the vision of the association. Now I want to hand it back to Suleiman. I pass it back to you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Anytime that we're going to be speaking, we've got the online community that is still joining us. We've got other members of staff. We've got other students who are joining us from different areas. When we're speaking, let's speak into the microphone so that the audio can also be heard on the other end. I know many of you are trying to find out wondering why they are speaking and they can't hear themselves. We're actually doing this for the people who are listening and watching us online. So this is a hybrid session where those who could not attend because of the numbers on the size of the room, we provided the same platform for them to follow us live. So anywhere, what we'll actually do is we're sharing, if you go to the YouTube page, on Kenya Vision 2030 YouTube page, you can actually watch this entire proceedings live. And even after we're finished with this session, if you'd like to follow or go back to anything, the recording will still be available there. And I think with that, would like to officially start off our program for this morning. I'd like to call upon Director Ismail Maruf to come and give us the forum objectives and the opening remarks. Makofi yake tafadhali.
Thank you very much, our MC, Mr. Suleiman. Colleagues, should I say colleagues? You are all economists, right? Comrades. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to Kenya Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat. Is this the first time you are interacting with the Vision Delivery Secretariat? By show of hands, who has ever read the Vision 2030 blueprint or the book? Just by show of hands. Hebu nionyeshe mkono. Nani amewahi? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get, at least that's a good number. 4 out of 20. That's 1/5, right? 4 out of 20 is 1/5. 1/5 is how many percent? 20%. Or what? 1/5 is how many percent? Huh? 20. 20% is what grade in the university? Well, use it as a sample in the population. 20% is a good representative or a bad representative. It's bad, right? More so coming from where? From the specialists. Our feature brilliant economists in the country. Well, this will be an eye-opener for all of us. Number one, I'll do a bit of some ground setting. We are all here as learners today. We want much to hear from your end rather than you hearing from us. But nonetheless, to lay the foundation, we'll tell you just a snippet of what Vision 2030 is all about. Therefore, I'll expect you, number one, have your full participation, active participation in the discussions and in giving your ideas. Where you are now is called Ruwaza Center. What is Ruwaza? Ruwaza ni nini? Vision. Vision, who can define for me what a vision is? Kuesa. You have a vision, right? What is your vision? What's your vision to Kuesa?
The vision of Kuesa is to nurture world-class economic leaders who are able to who are able to confront conventional thinking and deliver solutions to the economy in the country.
That is exactly where we are now. This is a room where we bring forth idea, put it under pressure to the extent it will become a real life solution to a challenge that we are currently battling with. So number one, I'll expect an active participation from all the participants. Two, everyone's idea is right. There is a total respect for your opinions. We have called you so that you give us your views, and we are ready to listen as a Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat. So feel free, feel at home, feel that this is your home, okay? I'll do some formal talks. Number one, there are 5 key objectives we want to achieve today as Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat and Kuesa together. Objective number 1 is to engage with you as representatives of Kenyatta University Economic Student Union, since your voice is critical in shaping Kenya's next long-term development blueprint. We currently have Vision 2030. 2030 is just on the corner, right? What after 2030? We want to hear your voices. We want to hear your critical thinking and your ideas around how do you want us to implement current Vision 2030, the few years remaining, and what are the thinking you will give us in regard to the upcoming development blueprint. Number 2, there's a generational gap between you and me. So this discussion today will help us bridge that generational gap and the technological divide between us. And I'll explain further how that gap has come to exist. 3, together, I want us to explore the emerging opportunities and the challenges in Kenya's development space, our development journey as a country, including our digital transformation, the emerging technology within the field of artificial intelligence, climate resilience, and innovation-led growth across the globe. You are the brilliant minds the country treasures most. Therefore, Vision has created the platform for you to share what you think is best for the country. 4, in our discussion today, I want to inspire active youth participation in national visioning, in our national policy formulation and implementation processes. And finally, in our discussion, Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat wants to foster collaboration between academia, policy institutions, student unions, and the government. Are we together? With those objectives now, I want to go into the opening statement for the sessions today, and I'll start by giving an apology from our Director General, Mr. Kenneth Muige, who would have loved to have been with us in this important discussion. He's very passionate about talking to the youth, very passionate about talking on long-term development plans. Unfortunately, he's held up in another important assignment. He has delegated that responsibility to pass his message to you through me. I'm not so sure whether I can do justice to what he would have said, but I'll try my best. Okay? Please accept his apology. Our distinguished participants today from Kenyatta University Economic Student Union, with their leadership and the members, my fellow director, Director Idi Masood, my colleagues at the Kenya Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be in this platform where we are discussing Vision 2030 implementation phase, more so the last phase of its implementation, and the future development plans of this country. Distinguished participants, this conversation we are having today is very special for several reasons, but I'll just state 2 reasons why it is important. The first reason is because you here represent next generation. You represent the next generation that will define the Kenya we are planning for. As a Vision Delivery Secretariat, we are thinking of the long-term development plan for the country. Any one of you who is aware of any long-term plan that exists in Africa, that guide development planning? Kuna mtu yeyote anajua? Yes, go ahead, please. Can you please clap for that boy? Africa Union Agenda 2063, right? That is a long-term plan that guides development across our continent, Africa. And therefore, we as a country, Kenya, are also aspiring to hinge our development plan to AU Agenda 2063. At 2063, Kenya will be how many years old? Quick calculation, who are the mathematicians in the room? Kenya will be how old? We've gained our independence when? 1963. So 2063, as a country, we will be what? 100. Therefore, our next vision will be Kenya at 100. Kenya 2063, Kenya at 100, okay? That's why I said now, that time, the planning and the development will be yours, not ours. Sisi tutakuwa wazee by that time, right? Ni nyinyi. That is the reason number 1 why our discussion today is important. The reason number 2 why I believe this discussion we're having here is extremely important is because the dialogue bridge, this dialogue here will bridge 2 different worlds, 2 generations that are shaped by different realities. My generation and your generation are different. And I'll say why. When the Vision 2030 was conceptualized, it was back in 2007, right? Immediately after the post-election violence. To many of you here, post-election violence is just one of the stories being told, right? But to some of us, we have lived the by-election violence itself. I remember I was in Nairobi that time. And I was a graduate. Okay? Now, with the Vision 2030 blueprint being developed in 2007, the world looked nothing like it is today at that time. At the time, there was no Facebook. Imagine how it was. There was no Facebook that time. There was no WhatsApp. There was no TikTok. Was there a YouTube? Definitely not. And certainly, there was no story about AI. That is the context within which this document we are talking about today, the Vision 2030, was conceptualized and developed. Internet penetration at that particular time was less than 10% in our country. Smartphone ownership was below 20%. Smartphone itself was a luxury. We remember, all of us, our affectionate Nokia 3310. Nani anajua hiyo? which has never committed any crime, but the current smartphones do commit. And the only game that was there was which one? The snake. Okay? That is the generation myself here, Director Edie, Mr. Timothy, Madam Beatrice have lived in. And that is the context within which the Vision 2030 was developed. Okay? Currently, where we are now, well, you can imagine, was there a Google that time? When you're given an assignment, would you go and Google it? This man has done his research, his thesis, from the library, not from the laptop. Mnamona, his was 100% from the library, researching, moving from one shelf to the other, rather than from one page to the other from the internet. Okay? Well, Vision 2030 was born in an era of infrastructure and industrial ambition as a country. That time, our ambition and our thinking was barabara. Hatuna barabara. Our ambition was about industrializing the country at that particular juncture. A time when our focus was mostly on roads, on ports, power plants, and mostly physical connectivity. Our focus has been so much on the physical connectivity as a country. Those were the foundations we needed at that time to unlock growth and stability in our country. However, today realities are completely different. Your generation here, students of Kuesa, is living through new revolution. Am I right? One defined by not the hardware, but mostly the software of life. Yours is not defined by land and labor, but by data and ideas. And our thinking will now focus mostly on data and ideas. Even globally, the world superpower is no longer shaped by the military might of countries, but it's shaped by your ability to control the minds, the mindsets, and the data flow across the globe. You are a digital generation for that matter. Si ni kweli? A generation of coders are in front of me here. A generation of innovators and a generation of influencers. Si ni kweli? The most known people today are in the orange economy, entertainment industry, influencers, right? In my days, those never existed at all. You are the guys who can transform life using technology and your creativity. And this is why your participation in shaping the future of our country in the next long-term plan is not an optional, but an essential one. And you have to be on board. The Kenya we are building beyond 2030 will be defined by your aspirations, by your innovations, and by your courage to imagine differently from me and Director Edie here. Distinguished economists in the room, you hold a very unique responsibility to interpret data. That's what an economist does, isn't it? You interpret data for the country. You model possibilities and you challenge assumptions. Gen Zs have challenged Finance Bill 2024, right? Why were they doing that? Why were they protesting against the passing of Finance Bill 2024? Economists. It was purely our it's fair, isn't it, as economists? Finance Bill 2024 was purely within our ambit as economists. So what was wrong with it? What were you challenging? Well, I want you guys to expand your imagination. Think outside the box, and to some extent, even think without that box itself. But as you interpret data beyond the numbers, you also hold the power to shape values, policies, and systems that reflect hopes of millions of Kenyans in this country. Our mission today is very simple as Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat. We are here to listen to you, we are here to learn, and we are here to connect your generation dreams with our national vision. Are we together? Because the next vision must speak your language of innovation, the language of sustainability, the language of inclusivity, and a language where the world and Kenya compete and we thrive globally as a country. So we're here. As we begin our discussion today, I invite you to think boldly. I don't want you to hold back. I don't want you to feel cowed. Your idea is what the country needs. Imagine Kenya, where technology drives our governance efficiency. Imagine Kenya, where green industries replace the current industries that are polluting our environment. Imagine Kenya, where data drives decision making. Imagine Kenya, where youth are not just consulted, but they are trusted to lead the country. Together, we can create a vision that's not only for 2030, but one that carries us proudly into the middle of 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your moment to shape history of this country. You have the opportunity today. And the Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat, we are here to walk with you in that journey of shaping the history of our Republic of Kenya. Well, with those few remarks, I want to invite your ideas, your reflection, and questions as we begin this interactive session. Let us all discuss, let us all dream together, and let us all design our future Kenya. With that, mine is to say thank you, and I want to invite my colleague, Director Idi Masood, who is also an economist, who has shaped the future of this country in terms of infrastructure, to tell you more about the Vision 2030 before he invites our MC to talk. Karibu Director.
Thank you very much, Director Maru, for giving us opening remarks. Comrades, hamjambo? Hamjambo? Huwa naona siku hizi mnafanya comrades power, comrades ria, comrades tialala. I like that. Karibu ni sana Vision 2030. This is where the development of the country is being overseen. I want to take you through the journey, the overview of Kenya Vision 2030 since inception to date, and even going far back when this issue of development planning started in the country. You know, before wazungu wakuje, hatukuwa na issue ya planning, si ndio? We had barter trades and so on and so forth. Unalima nyanya yako ama mahindi ama mtama, unaenda unatafuta mtu mwenye yako na kuku, mnabadilishana, si ndio? But vile wazungu walikuja, wakatuacha na hii mambo ingine, si ndio? Waka introduce the monetary economy, wakasema hii kitu sio lazima yule uwe bora uko na pesa you can buy anything, si ndio? Now, I just want to start by asking you, as economic students, who is regarded as the father of economics? Yeah, just pick. Huh? Who? Yes, Adam Smith. Why? Which concepts did he introduce? Free market. The other one? The wealth of nation, the division of labor. Do you remember? Yes. And have you ever interacted with somebody or a book written by a famous Kenyan who passed away about 3 or so years ago? Mathematics for Economics. Huh? Have you done Mathematics for Economics? Mlikuwa mnatumia kitabu gani? Ilikuwa imeandikwa na nani? Ama mkutumia hiyo? Ni sisi tulitumia. Kulikuwa na jamaa fulani alikuwa anaitwa Professor Mukras. Have you ever come across his books? And may his soul rest in peace. He was just a Kenyan. Pia Kenyans wako kwa limelight, and they have helped to shape the field of economics. And from the onset, I would like to say that most nations, or all nations, are being driven by economists and politicians. And therefore, you hold a very special place in this country. Sawa sawa. Ama mkiangalia hii nchi, wakina nani wanatawala? Ni doctors, ama engineers? Ni economists, si ndio? Lazima tukuwe na plans. Plans kabambe, ndio wale waweze kufanya nini? Implement. And it is economists who come with what? With the necessary plans, they prioritize, you see, and they chart the way for countries. Kwa hivyo, you hold a very special place in this country. Now, Paul, next. Now, Vision 2030 was launched in June of 2008. Where were you by then? Yeah? Ulikuwa wapi? Preschool. Wow. And therefore, this vision was for you, sindio? And now it is just about the corner. We are there almost 2030, yeah? I hope by the time tutakuwa tunafika 2030, you will be in the job market, sindio? And when it was being launched, you were in preschool. Time really flies very fast. And the aim of the vision is to create a globally competitive and prosperous country with a high quality of life by the year 2030. And I believe as a country we've tried as much as possible to move towards that direction. It aims to transform Kenya into a newly industrializing, upper middle income country, providing a high quality of life to all its citizens in a clean and secure environment. Those were the aspirations of the vision. And from where could you come from? Are you feeling the vision? Do you believe in these? Are we seeing them? Are we seeing any kind of transformation across the country? Yeah? Yes, a lot. Now, Vision 2030 is being depicted by this diagram, which is looking like a house, where we have the overarching goal, or the overarching vision, which is like the roof, to be a globally competitive and prosperous nation with a high quality of life by the year 2030. To support that one, or to achieve that one, we have 3 pillars. Yes? Si hata kama unajenga nyumba lazima iwe na those pillars, yenye inasimamisha, itakuwa inasimamisha the roof, si ndio? So we have economic pillar which aims to maintain a sustained economic growth of 10% per annum for the most of the next 20 years. That is when this thing, the vision was being formulated. That is what the goal was. And then we have the social pillar, whose aim is to have a just and cohesive society enjoying equitable social development in clean and secure environment. And we have the political pillar, which aims to have an issue-based, people-centered, result-oriented, and accountable democratic political system in the country. And all these, we have what is called the foundations. Wakati unajenga nyumba si lazima uwe na strong foundations. Yes, the foundations, otherwise known as the enablers, which are cross-cutting infrastructural development, science, technology, and innovation. We have public sector reforms and macro stability. And all these, as a people, we must have our value system, because that is what will tell us, don't do this, this is right, that is wrong. Sawa sawa. So before we do anything, lazima tuangalie as a people, what do we stand for as a people? Because if we get our values wrong, that is why you will find that we are doing projects na kuna vandals, wanakuja wanaharibu, si ndio? Unapata barabara imetengezwa lakini mtu anakuja kuchoma tires kwa barabara. Na lami na moto zinapatana. Na ikichomwa, najua sote tunapenda kwenda kwa street sometimes. Kutafuta haki yetu, si ndio? Lakini wakati umechoma barabara nini inafanyika? Inachoma the tarmac na tunakuwa na potholes and so on and so forth. That is just an example. Utapata road furnitures, mtu anaenda na anaharibu, anatoa kama hizo covers za drainage. Mtu akitembea anaanguka, anavunjika, ama gari inapata accident. And it happens across board. Ukiangalia electricity, kumekuwa na watu wenye wanaenda wananyonya ama na vandalize the transformers. Nashtukia blackouts. So our value system, what we stand for as a country, as a people, matters a lot, and it will help us have sustainable development. Now, the development process of Vision 2030, if we go back during our independence, the country came up with this stational paper number 1, which served as the main long-term policy paper, which established the principle of development process, while at the same time agitating for decentralized planning in government. And Kenya implemented 8 national development plans between 1964 to 2001. So we had those short-term. Yeah, from 1964 up to 2001, we had 8 of them. And these plans were succeeded by the Economic Recovery Strategy for Wealth and Employment Creation, covering the period between 2003 to 2007. Makiu, this is the time when Kibaki came into power. Yes? And, as economists, we should also be proud, because Kibaki was how many of you know that Kibaki was an economist? Yes. So we really understood the value of planning as a country and the role of economists in society or in running governments. Now, during this ERS, this is what conceptualized the long-term national development plan, that the Vision 2030. You know, when we implemented the ERS, walionja, the essence of planning, having clear plans. Now, akasema kama hii miaka 5 ime succeed, what about if you have a longer term plan? You see, and that is what gave birth now, or the thinking for Vision 2030. Now, Vision development process was launched in 2006 by the late Kibaki, and it was developed through an all-inclusive participatory stakeholder consultative process involving all Kenyans and international experts. Because we wanted to get views from across board. Sometimes, umejua ukiwa nyumbani kwako unaweza fikiri your mother is the best chef, si ndio? Jaribu tembee huku nje, enda coast, enda coast, ama enda Nyeri, ama enda Kisumu, so that you know how others. So as you are doing your plans, sometimes you have to subject them to the wider stakeholders internally and externally so that they can stress test it. You can benchmark. You can see what others have done and they have succeeded. What others have done and have not worked, so that inakuwa learning lessons. Sindio? Yes. So the process was launched by Kibaki. The workshops were held from diverse backgrounds. Yes, next. So what are the institutional arrangements that we have for the implementation of Vision 2030? As a secretariat, we have our board. We have the Vision Delivery Board and the Vision Delivery Secretariat. And the Vision Delivery Board, or VDB, is a policy-making advice, has a policy-making and advisory role, and they provide the overall leadership, oversight, guidance, and policy direction in implementation of vision and sustenance of momentum in realizing the goals and aspirations under the vision. Whereas the Secretariat is there to spearhead the implementation of the vision as the country's blueprint and strategy towards making Kenya a newly industrializing, upper middle income country capable of providing high quality of life for all its citizens by the year 2030. As you know, and I believe you've been taught this, the board is there just to provide policy direction, guidance, and all that. But the operational arm of the board is the Secretariat. Sawa sawa. So board members watakuwa nakutana, let's say, 4 times in a year. But who does the day-to-day work of ensuring that the vision is on course? It is the Secretariat. Sawa sawa. So whatever we are working on, then ikifika at some point, tuna present kwa board. Tunawaambia, this is what we've done, and this is what we are planning to do going forward, so that they can guide. Sawa sawa. And when we are reporting on the achievement of Vision 2030 or the progress, they can guide. Wanasema, hii imefanya, hii haijafanya, here there were bottlenecks, so that they can also help to unlock some of the bottlenecks that our implementers are facing in the implementation of the flagship projects. Sawa sawa. Now, the implementation of Vision 2030 is being undertaken through a tiered process, a step by step. We have the long term, which is Vision 2030. Then how is this plan being implemented? The plan is being implemented in medium-term plans. These medium-term plans, otherwise known as MTPs, and these MTPs coincide with our electoral cycles, Before any regimes come in, the country develops a draft MTP. And when a new regime comes on board, it is being aligned, the MTP is being aligned with their manifesto, which runs for 5 years. Sawa sawa? Yes. So the first MTP was implemented between the year 2008 to 2012. That was the first MTP, and this was the last term of Kibaki regime. Sawa sawa. Then we had the MTP2, which was running Jubilee 1, 2013 to 2017. And you remember we promulgated a constitution in 2010, which came up with the devolved system, Sindio? And for us to plan properly for our county, for the country, the devolved units also had to come up with their development plan, sawa sawa, which is aligned to Vision 2030, And these are called the CIDPs. Who can tell me CIDP in full? County? Nyinyi mmepata mwa Kenya. Mmepata mwa Kenya pale, si ndio? But it's okay. You are bright chaps. So the first term of devolved system started in 2013. And that's why you see CIDP started 2013 to 2017. Whereas MTP started 2008. Sawa? Yes. So we implemented 2013 to 2017, we implemented MTP2 and CIDP1. And then 2018 to 2022, we implemented MTP3 and CIDP2. Currently, we are implementing MTP 4 and CIDP 3. Sawa sawa? Yes. So mtu akikuuliza eti where is that disconnect? When the vision was being launched, there were no devolved systems. That is the reason. Sawa sawa. Next. Now, institutionalizing the vision in planning, budgeting, and implementation. Mtu atakuuliza, how is this vision being implemented? At that higher level, we have the vision, yes? The overall, which is running from 2008 to 2030, yes? And therefore, sometimes you cannot have foresight that in 10 years, what will be there. For example, you will find currently there are a number of things that have come into play. We have artificial intelligence, yeah? Machine learning, and so on and so forth, yes? I just remembered when the director was talking, he said that as we did our researches in the library, have you ever come across Britannica, Americana, encyclopedias in the libraries? Do you know them? Huh? Yes. Tulikuwa tunaenda huko, unakaa, unatafuta Britannica. Enda mtafute, ulize library Britannica ni nini. They are interesting, yeah? Those are big voluminous books, yeah? So things were changing. So you will find that when we are doing this, yeah, you cannot have foresight what will be happening in several years. Things nowadays change very fast, yes? And that's why, yes, we know where we want to go, but we are saying we have to break it down into chewable pieces, so that when a regime comes, and I implement only for the 5 years, but and I maintain the focus, the overall focus where we want to go. Sawa sawa. So we have that step 1, the Vision 2030. Then we have step 2, the medium-term plans, MTP, which coincide with our electoral cycles that I was telling you. And these MTPs has about 25 sectors based on the Vision 2030 sectors. For example, in enablers, we have like 9 sectors, starting with infrastructure, science, technology, innovation. We have ICT, land reforms, public sector reforms, national values, security, peace building, and conflict resolution. Yes, there are 9. And then when you go to economic pillar, we have trade, we have manufacturing, agriculture, BPO, yes? We have tourism, we have oil, gas, and other minerals, yes? And which other? And blue economy, you see. When you go to social pillar, education, health, yeah? Yes, yeah? Housing, urbanization, yeah? Water, environment, yeah? Youth, sports, culture, about, and then we have the political pillar, yes? Which has also about the issues to do with the governance, yeah? Devolution, yes? Anything that is relating to the political pillar. And then we have strategic plans. The strategic plans must also be aligned to Vision 2030 and the MTPs. Sawa sawa. Then after that, how do we finance these plans? In government, there is what is known as medium-term plan, medium-term expenditure framework, which are 3 years rolling, yes? So every year, watu wanaenda, wanakaa chini, wanaangalia, these are the projections. This is how we are going to raise money. This is how these resources are going to be distributed so that we can develop this country. Sawa sawa. And then we have the annual budgets, and we have annual plans, and then there is what is known as the annual performance contracts that all agencies, be it ministries, departments, and corporations, including universities, must sign this. Sawa sawa? Yes, because this one is what now, tukikombine yote pamoja, ina fit into vision. Sawa sawa? Like currently now, the performance contracts for the year 2024, 2025 are being evaluated, and institutions, the body that is charged with that is Public Service Performance Management Unit. They are moving around institutions to evaluate what these institutions achieved during the plan period. And then we have annual and midterm, annual, midterm, and end-term monitoring, and evaluation reports, just to gauge where the country, whether are we on track, are we moving towards realizing the vision, or where are we? So that when we are developing the next plan, we know where to tweak. We have the lessons, best practices, and so on and so forth. When the vision was being developed, it was foreseen, or it was envisaged that the plan, the government was to do 30%. But the private sector was to do 70%. Why? It boils down to what he said, or what the father of economics said. Yes? Free economy. Because kazi ya serikali, is it to do the productive things? No, it's to create that enabling environment so that the private sector can use the enabling environment to do business. Sindio? And that is what Adam Smith advocated for. Sindio? So, the planners, or the developers of the vision, they knew that if the government does this 30%, be it the roads, those social goods, roads, railways, airports, those that cut across, then the private sector should use that now to do business. A case in point. You know, for you to move your goods from point A to point B, you need good roads. India. For you to produce in a manufacturing plant, you must have electricity. India. Yes. Now you find the government comes in heavy to do that. To create that enabling environment. So we have national stock or county governments, exchequer releases through the MTF process, where we get the funding for some of the flagship projects. Then we have PPPs. How many of you have heard about the PPPs? Public-private partnerships? Yes? Yes. Do you know of any project that has been implemented in the country through PPP? Which one? Expressway? Another one? Yeah? Sure. Thank you. Yes, and then we have capital markets, issue of shares, bonds, and infrastructure bonds. We have bilateral and multilateral partners financing. Yeah, this road imekuwa financed na World Bank, African Development Bank, Exim Bank. Yes, but do they give us those money for free? Okay, kuna zile huwa na donate, sindio? Those grants, but you'll find that a majority they give us loans, sindio? Yes. And then we have development partners, then we have private equity financing. Some of the successes. Transition to lower middle income status since 2014 after attainment of GDP per capita of US 1430, Constitution of 2010. Yeah? When the Constitution was being promulgated, you were in which class? Class 1. Wow. Time really flies, eh? Kumbe nyinyi hii Constitution ndio wakongwe ama nyinyi ndio wakongwe? Eh? Nyinyi ndio wakongwe? I like that. The successful conduct of the 2022 general election, peaceful, credible, legal system, of course, devolution. Entrenchment of national values and principles of governance. Just yesterday, I was looking at the news. Na niliona EACC wamerecover how many hectares of land in Karura? Close to 20, yeah? 18 acres. Yes, our national values. Because that is a public land. It has to be reclaimed. Sindio? Yes, so it's very important. Kenya ranked 4th in Sub-Saharan African and Global Innovation Index. Infrastructure expansion across board. Across board. Siku hizi najua mkienda nyumbani lami karibu imefika mlangoni, si ndio? Ama hata kama sio mlangoni imefika karibu. Sio kama kitambo. Yes? Hata stima, si ndio? Yes. So we are seeing good progress. Internet connectivity. My friend, during our days, hata hiyo internet connectivity ilikuwa ni shida. Na siku hizi, fiber optic Konza City, horizontal infrastructure, data center, and the Open University of Kenya. So, next. We have land reforms, digital financing, for example, M-Pesa, public sector reforms, and decentralization of government services through Huduma centers, growth in tourism, national electronic single window, export processing zones, one-stop shop centers, yes, reduction of under 5 mortality from 92 per 1,000 live births in 2007 to 41 in 2022, and then doctor population ratio more than doubled. I'm not saying that doctors are wafanyi kazi ama engineers, but nilisema economists drive the country, sindio? Yes, lazima tuwe na these plans where we want to go, sindio? Yes. Increase in gross enrollment rates and transition rates at all levels of education, yes. Usipo manage kwenda university, kuna TVET, sindio? Hata village polytechnics. Zinaitwa village polytechnics ama nini? At least kila mtu wako na a pathway where you can pursue your education to the highest level. Makiu, even those who go through those polytechnics or TVETs, they can still pursue education up to PhD level. So, but determination. Forest cover increased from 2% to 8%. Access to water increased from 60 to 80. Then access to improved sanitation increased from 44 to 66. Under the enablers, construction of 25,000 kilometers of roads across the country, including 27.1 of Nairobi Expressway, multimodal Lamu Port, South Sudan, transport corridor, that is the Lapset. How many of you have heard of Lapset corridor? You've heard about it. Yes, kama hujasikia some about it, because that is going to be the next frontier. That is not going. It's currently the frontier for Kenya's growth, because we've been relying on the northern corridor. How many of you know about the northern corridor? Do you know about the northern corridor? Which corridor is that? Huh? Do you know about the northern corridor? Now, these corridors they are continental corridors. The southern corridor, iko huko South Africa. The central corridor runs from Dar es Salaam, yes, across. Then the northern corridor runs from Mombasa to Busia and Malaba. Sawa sawa. So we have been predominantly relying on the northern corridor for the development of this country. Ukiangalia map ya Kenya, utapata that corridor, along that corridor, 100 kilometers above and below, that is where the development is concentrated. And that is where we are fighting for to plot it, sindio? But what about the other corridor, the Lapset corridor, that upper corridor, the northern Kenya? Now, usijali about the northern corridor. We are talking of the northern Kenya. Sawa sawa. So don't confuse the two. Kuna northern Kenya and the northern corridor. So, yes. Now, that's northern frontier, where Lapset traverses, is the next frontier for this country's development. Because if you look, for example, Isiolo sits in almost the middle of this country. We have discovered oil in Turkana. We have vast lands in Isiolo, Marsabit, Moyale, Wajir, Garissa, Mandera. Those lands, they hold the potential development of this country, because the opportunities down here along the northern corridor, they are dwindling with the time. Sawa sawa. So, as planners, as economists, start thinking what is there in the corridor, what can you influence? Because we are going to have logistic hubs, we are going to have special economic zones, we are going to have resort cities, tourism centers, you know, massive investments in terms of social amenities, yeah? So you need to take advantage. And this is the right time for you as economists to start thinking how you are going to explore the potential of that corridor. Sawa sawa. Expanded fiber optic backbone, constructed standard gauge rail from Mombasa to Nairobi, yes, and up to Suswa, and the government has planned to extend it to Malaba. Sindio, are you aware about that? Yes. How many of you have used the SGR? Yeah, it is fantastic, eh? Si ndio? Hakuna ile mshtuko ukikuwa kwa basi unashika roho. Driver ameshika breki, una travel hata kama ulikuwa na assignment, hata kama ulikuwa unakuja kufanya mtihani and you are traveling from Mombasa, you are able to revise comfortably. Ukifika uko fresh, unaingia exam room, unanyorosha mtihani. Si ndio? Yeah. Na sio ni maendeleo. Last mile connectivity and then decentralization of government services, the Huduma centers, Huduma Life applications, Huduma Mashinani, and so on and so forth. Expansion of Mombasa ports, container terminal, Kisumu, Lamu, Shimoni fishing port. Expansion and modernization of aviation facilities. And then, of course, in all these, as a country grows, umejua pia wahalifu wanaongezeka. Si ndio? Lazima pia tuangalie mambo ya security of the country. So, and that is why the National Police Forensic Laboratory at DCI headquarters, so kukiwa na hii mambo ya crime wanaweza wakatatua haraka. Wanatatua so that Wakenya wasonge na kazi nyingine. Si ndio? Fantastic. Next. What are some of the lessons we've learned in the implementation of Vision 2030? We've learned that coordinated project identification and implementation is key. Sawa sawa. So that it is 1 month's affair. Nime-identify, na nita-implement, na nitafanya hii. Sawa sawa. Lazima tuweke vichwa pamoja, so that yule anasema, mimi naona hii tukifanya ndio mzuri, mwingine anasema hii, then tunakubaliana. So that tukianza implementation, kuna that congruence of mind. Yeah? We are moving together. Kuna buy-in from across board. Sawa sawa. Na constitution yetu pia ilisema kuna hii kitu inaitwa public what? Participation. Sawa sawa. So lazima kuwe na all those, so that wananchi wanajua this is what is good, this is how we are going to implement it. Synergies and linkages between implementing agencies, so that is MDAs. MDAs, counties and private sectors. MDAs, usijali, hii MDAs inamaanisha ministries, departments and agencies. Sawa sawa. Yeah? The government huwa kuna CSS. Ministers or CSS, cabinet secretaries, they are in charge of ministries. Sawa sawa. Then departments, unasikia State Department for Higher Education. They are being headed by who? PSS. Yes. So you'll find under one ministry, there are 1, 2, or 3, or a number of state departments. Sawa sawa. For example, Ministry of Education, how many state departments are there? About 3. Sindio? Kuna basic education, higher education, alafu kuna TVET. Sindio? Yes. And then agencies. Now, agencies now are sasa kama sisi. Hii ma state corporation, including universities. Those are state agencies. Sasa. So no, ukisikia hii, because as you are getting closer to graduating and getting into the job market, particularly ukiingia government, you'll be getting these MDAs. So it is good that. And then it is also good to ring fence finances and land banking. As a country, we've been having this challenge where you want to implement a project. For example, now what was happening in Karura. That is a government land and somebody am a hive of. Now you want to do a project in that area, unapata mtu alishafanya nini? Alishanyakua, yeah? Unapata even in other areas, we want to do road expansion, na mtu alisha encroach kwa government land where a road is supposed to be constructed, yes? So we need to ensure that we do our land banking. The government has identified all the land that belongs to the government for future projects. Sawa sawa. And also ring fence the finances. Once the funding has been allocated to some of these projects, there is need to ring fence them, so that tunasema hii pesa ilikuwa ni kujenga hii university, kujenga this health facility, na inabaki hapo, not diverting that money to other uses. Then, yes, of course, diversification of financing is there. Next. Success and long-term plan. Now, we are shy of Vision 2030 by about 5 or so years, sindio? And therefore, as a good planner, lazima ukuwe na concrete plans kujua that tukifika hapo what next. Sio inafika 2030 alafu tunaanza kujiuliza where next, si ndio? So unakuwa na plan, unasema now before tufike pale, because visioning should be continuous, si ndio? Yes, it is not just a destination. Before tufike hapo tunajua now next tunataka kwenda pale. It is like a mirage. You are walking in a desert, unaona pale kuna maji. You are closer there, unaona imesonga, si ndio? Yes. So that is what we need to do. Now, being that Vision 2030 is at it's almost nearing its end, the development of a holistic evaluation of the Vision 2030 to take stock of the achievements of the objectives of the visions, lessons learned, best practices and impact to the citizens and the economy is currently being formulated. We want to embark on doing groundwork tujue hii vision yenye ilikuwa launched in 2008 to date tumeachieve kiasi gani. I know we have hits and misses. There are those indicators that maybe we have surpassed, zingine tumeachieve average, zingine maybe we are lagging behind, but we must have that concrete data. It is hard data that will enable us say that yes, number of roads, we were planning to do this and we have done this. Number of university enrollment, we were planning to do this and we have achieved this. And therefore, when we are making the next plan, itatusaidia. It will help us to come up with concrete plans that somehow realistic. Sindio? Yes. And then we need to develop a transition plan. I told you that we have, the vision is being implemented in MTPs. The current one is running 2023 to 2027. And therefore, we'll have about 2 years to 2030, sindio? And therefore, we must have a transition plan to 2030. Sawa sawa? And then, after that, we are planning to do development of post-vision 2030, the long term. And the current thinking is about Vision 2063, because that one coincides with our 100 years of independence. Sindio? Just this year, around May or so, Somalia launched their centennial vision, Vision 2060. So, which means they got their independence in 1960. Sindio? So they have come up with Vision 2060. They've called it centennial vision. So Kenya also. And they came for benchmarking. We are the ones who helped them develop that. Sawa sawa. Because it was their first time to have a vision or to formulate a vision. So we are also thinking of Vision 2063 to align with our independence and also to align with Agenda 2063. Sawa sawa. Yes. And it will be a catchy thing because, of course, umejua kikwetu kijana akishabalehe si anaenda kwake. Yeah? So hata Kenya ikifika hiyo, it will be a milestone. I'm just saying that as a milestone in life that needs to be celebrated. Sindio? And since the long-term envisioning is consultative, multi-sectoral and multi-stakeholder process that requires huge amounts of technical and financial resources, we have to start at this early stage. Sawa? Yes. So up to there, tunaweza tukaongea, but this was your day. We need to hear from you. Jog your minds. We've just given you the snippet. There's a lot, that you cannot talk in a day, but these are just snippets. But my parting shot, you know the critical role that economies play in this country. Claim it, take it. Don't drop the ball. Asanteni.
Thank you very much, directors. Sasa, as you know your role, your critical role as economists. Are you able to manage it? Are you able to fit into the shoes? Do you believe in yourselves as economists? You see the massive role that you're supposed to play. You're supposed to oversee the transition from where we are and then the next years up to 2063. So we are relying on you and other economists. Sisi ndio tulifanya hii ya zamani. I think by the time 2063, sijui kama tutakuwa tumekikaa pahali tunaangalia ng'ombe. If we be alive, ng'ombe nini na wajukuu. But you be the drivers. You be with the people standing here to try and say, we are the people implementing the vision. This is where we are. This is what is working. This is not working well. Now, we want to go to another session. You have heard from us. Now you don't need to hear from us anymore. Now we need to hear from you. You remember when the opening remarks were being made, is that one of the objectives of this is to pick your ideas, to pick your views, to pick your innovations. And that's why we call it this Ruwaza. It's an ideation forum where we pick views, we pick your ideas, your aspirations also. And in the last slide, you're able to link where the critical role of where you are coming in. The last slide Director Idi has shared. You see the last bullet, he talked about being a multi-consultative process. And we need you in that whole process. And it's a beginning. So I want to have a brief discussion, a few minutes discussion. First, you have been told about the vision. We are supposed to be globally competitive, prosperous nation with a high quality of life. Sindio? In your opinion, and it's an open forum, anyone can respond, feel free to respond. How well do you feel that we are globally competitive? Maybe you can have a mic on that side so that anybody can speak. You want to pick your views in terms of being globally competitive. Just give us your views. And why, if you say yes, no, or maybe what are your reasons? Let's start with the Deputy Director here. Karibu.
So good afternoon again. So I'd say in terms of global competitiveness, I'd say we are kind of lagging behind, because when you compare Kenya to other countries, specifically the world, what do you call them? The first-class countries such as the US and everything, they are prioritizing technology specifically in the AI sector. And in Kenya, we rarely hear of sectors that are diversifying into the AI space. So in my opinion, I'd say we are kind of lagging behind, but you're on the right track, but at the same time, not moving fast enough.
What do you think we can do better, in your opinion?
We can start by, I believe we can, sensitization. People need to understand that technology is the future, AI is the future, and it's better we embrace it this early so that we can put ourselves in line with where the rest of the world is heading, rather than lagging behind and trying to catch up later in life. I'd say that.
Okay. Thank you. Another opinion, and you can also say your name as we, yes, another opinion. Let's have another opinion on that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon once again. I think currently we are somewhere in matters the development as a country, especially now when we try to compare ourselves with countries that are placed in East and Central Africa. But now when it comes to those countries that are way above us or countries that started before us, we are lagging behind in terms of development. And not that we are poor planners. Actually, we are so good at planning, but now the biggest deficits come from the implementation of our plans. That's where we see corruption, that's where we see misuse, graft cases coming all along. Yeah.
Maybe in terms of solutions, what are the 2 key or 3 key aspects that interventions that we can bring in to ensure that we are able now to catch up with those other countries?
The first solution will be active involvement of all stakeholders. That is the local stakeholders, the international stakeholders. We have the ordinary citizens and the experts who are in the field of that exercise that we are taking. And I believe the second one will be quicker processes. For instance, as a country, we have a lot of problems, especially when it comes to exchequer, making of contracts. So, for instance, if we come to the exchequer, say we have an implementation of a program that is supposed to start from this financial year, say the beginning of July, and now the exchequer is being released in September. So we find ourselves lagging behind. So if all the experts are involved and if we have a quicker process in the public sector, I believe that the public sector lags still behind when it comes to matters of development. We have not transformed the public sector. we have not equipped them enough with matters technology. We still have a lot of paperwork. We have not gone green enough. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's pick another opinion.
Thank you once again.
And you can mention your name. So
My
that
name
we-
is
yes.
my name is Otema Beryl. Mine is rather a concern. From your presentation, I have not seen you guys talk about the physical policies, physical pressures, and debt sustainability. Over time, we have seen our economy depends so much on borrowing. I don't know what is your plan with regards to the vision for 2030 on that.
Thank you. That is a good concern on debt and fiscal space. We'll take it out, but we can also get opinions from other members here. What can we do to ensure that we manage our debt in a sustainable way and to ensure that we have a sustainable fiscal and monetary policies? We're economists. We're getting solutions. It's a good concern, but you can allow others also. Anybody who can respond to that can respond, and then we'll also give our opinions as we move forward. Thank you. It's a good concern. If you're able to respond to it. If not, you can move with your view, your idea, then you can have another member respond to the issue of debt and fiscal consolidation. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is David Makau once again. So to start with a question maybe from Beryl on issues debt. I think this is a conversation that we have had as a country for a very long time. So one of the issues that has come up is basically how we use the loans, because many countries, even developed countries, those the ones we are calling the developed countries, almost all of them have debt. So the issue has basically been how we make use of the debt such that the return on those investments is high enough to repay the loan, and then of course we have some benefits as a country. So my input is first is to say we have made some good milestones as a country in terms of the implementation of the vision, but my issue would be regionally and geographically. We are doing better from the Eastern Africa side, like Kenya, Uganda, and others. Yeah, at least for geographically, we are doing good. Yeah, maybe I looked at some data and I was sure that the budget of Kenya is, I think, 3 times that of Tanzania. So something like that. So at least geographically, we have done something. But again, when you look at Africa now, continent-wise, yeah, there are some countries which are mentioned to be more developed, like South Africa. We have Egypt and Nigeria, so at least more than Kenya, so we can try and see what those countries are doing and then what we can copy and maybe what we can improve from that aspect. And then again, we have like the peers of Kenya, the countries that got independence at the same time, around the same time with Kenya. So now at global aspect, now we have like Singapore, yeah, and maybe those countries are again doing better than Kenya. So again, in terms of age, now not geography, we can again see what has driven the growth of Singapore, and what is their vision, yeah. What did they do to achieve that kind of development, and again, what we can copy from them, and what are our strengths, the ones we can work, that can bring more development maybe to, yeah. So the next vision should focus on those stages that I've given geographically. We have endowed with minerals, maybe the other countries who doesn't have minerals. So how can we tap into the minerals that we have to make sure the issues of blue economy, fisheries, AI and technology, to make sure because that's the future, so that we push Kenya to that new reality and that aspect of development. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Makau. can get another view, even behind there, eh? Not only hapa mbele, hata pale nyuma. Karibu.
Good afternoon. My name is Shanice. So to answer what my colleague said about debt, my recommendation is if, let's say, Kenya finds a way to balance its financial fiscal responsibility with the ambition it has by focusing on climate smart solutions, such as, let's say, in agriculture, they use seedlings which are resistant to different climatic conditions. So this will cushion even the farmers during times of economic downtimes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those views. Let's get one more on globally. What about in terms of trade? Eh? What do you think? How are we doing in terms of the global trade?
Good afternoon again.
Yes.
In terms of the economic aspect of the country, our target has, in the Vision 2030, we had a target of 10%. And so far, we've been able to achieve an average of about 5% annually, which is a downshift to what we had targeted. And I believe that this has been brought about by not having a wider pool of exports that we have as a country. The products that we have as a country, our main products being the horticulture, exports, so that our exports can surpass now the imports. From there, we can now be able to become a stable country.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate him again. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ray Harmony, and I think much of the revenue generated by Kenya is focused on repaying the debts. And I feel the debts are focused on heavy financing of infrastructure projects. And I feel like these projects, e.g. the SGR, have low returns compared to the amount invested in. So how can we strike a balance between when we borrow the money, it shouldn't be focused on infrastructure, but rather than development or things that would give back revenue in a shorter period of time than buildings, constructions, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your name, kindly?
Ray Harmony.
Okay, asante. Okay, let's have one here, then we move behind.
My name is Tracy Wangoi, and my view on global trade, I think Kenya we are doing okay, but not the best that we can on global trade. Impacting and training farmers, because I believe Kenya, majority of us are mostly in the agricultural sector. If we made more unions for farmers, the unions that will enable us to export more, it will have more impact on the country, and also to have policies that reduce the imports of agricultural goods. It will also help us to improve in terms of our revenues.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate her.
Good afternoon. My name is Nzia. For me, I think I'll also agree with what my brother said. I feel that as a country, we focus a lot more on building, on making infrastructure projects, and a better place, a better thing to prioritize on will be human capital. So if we spend more time on education, on health, rather than necessarily having a big fancy stadium or fancy roads, I think that will help us bridge closer to the accelerate Vision 2030.
Thank you very much. Maybe I would want to throw a spanner in the works. Karibu, let's appreciate him. If you are told to look forward into 2063, remember those who conceptualized vision and those from what the discussions that were there. As we are looking at a globally competitive and prosperous nation with a high quality of life, what would you guys want to see in 2063? What would you want to see? And I think everyone now has a view, sindio? We allow at least kila row watu watatu wanapeana views, sindio? And we can also get from our team there, what do you want to see in 2063?
In 2063, I would like to see Kenya focused more in the service industry because currently that is where most employment is. I believe if we focus more in the service industry, we will improve our employment rates and we will also be keeping up with other countries that are more industrialized.
Thank you. Good view and an important one. Let's clap for her. Let's get another view up mbele, and then we go to the second row and then the third row.
Once again, good afternoon. What we will want to see is that we see a transformation in the social welfare of the country, because we are really trying in the economic aspect and in the political aspect of what we are trying to achieve as a country. But now in the social aspect, we still have a lot to do with. For instance, now if we come to security, we are still seeing cattle rustling, yeah? In the northern region of our country, we are still seeing our security officers living in mabati houses, and those are the bare minimums that we need to achieve as a country. For us to develop, there's those little things that we need to pull those strings so that we can ensure that they are well aligned. We also have issues to do in the education system. Our education system, people don't know what's really happening. For instance, now in university, we have lecturers striking, no one is talking about it, and these are the little things that matter. So for us to achieve a good life for our citizens, as it's even mentioned in the Vision 2030 plan, it's essential for us to ensure that the social aspect of it is also met, because you cannot have a good life for the citizens if we only focused on the economic and the political aspect of the vision. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. Let's get a view. Your row, okay. Can get one more in front here. Okay, yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Lydia. I would want to see the farming industry or the agriculture industry. I would love to see more mechanization. This is, for example, we are in the AI generation where you have drones helping the farmers spray chemicals to their crops, where you have robots assisting with milk processing and everything. So I would love to really see the farmers, especially in the rural areas, because that's where they are not reached mostly, where they have these improved mechanization tools. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate her. Let's get another view here.
So one more. So again, good afternoon. My name is Paul Gitonga, and one thing that I'd really like to see, hopefully before the year 2063, is an improved system of accountability, because I believe Kenya is a very, very wealthy country, and the funds specifically are being directed to the wrong areas, and they're not taking that into, they're not giving it the seriousness that it deserves. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Gitonga. Hapo nyuma.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Melchage. So in the 38 years to come, I will talk about integration with AI and tech in a healthy and ethical way, not just consuming every new trend that comes. A year like 2025, we've been hearing a lot of AI this, AI that. It helps, there's fear, there's everything. But how are we able to balance all of it in an ethical manner? Because if you look at the psychology and the statistics, you find that the people who are more social on social media are the ones who are the more depressed. So how are we able to balance all of that? So that's one. Number two is intentional, active participation in politics. We say that the fish rots in the head. And as you can see from the MTPs, it's a 5-year kind of thing. So definitely that means we have to be involved in politics. We say that you might not want to have to do anything with politics. It doesn't mean politics doesn't want to do anything with you. And in such a setup, this is a perfect place for it, because mobilization of the youth by the youth seems like a really pretty good idea. So I would like to see that in 2063, whereby the youth are not easily swayed by people here and there. And number three, of cancer. Thank you.
Let's appreciate him. I think we can see some political ambitions, eh? But it can be earlier than 2063. It's allowed because the Constitution allows you to participate even now, to make decisions and to craft the future. Karibu sana. Thank you very much. Karibu.
Good afternoon once more. So in 2063, I'd love to see a reduction in the rate of unemployment. And this can be done through, like the way my counterpart said, he said sensitization when it comes to the new age of technology and AI. In the new vision, post-2030, there can be like, let's say, plans to have more capital in the technological sector. Let's say, for example, building institutions that are tailored specifically for AI to teach people on those skills. Because in the future, most of the jobs will be AI-based and technology-based, and that will reduce the current rate of unemployment, but that can't happen when the people don't have the skills.
Skills development, eh? Thank you very much. Let's appreciate her.
Good afternoon once more. So for Vision 2063, I prefer to see a country where there's a lot of equity and economic inclusion. So like nowadays, if you walk in town, there are a lot of homeless families. If you go to the rural areas, the people are not integrated in the economy. So I think I prefer in 2063 an economy where every single person can participate in building the country essentially. And I also prefer a country that prioritizes education. So essentially, by 2063, when I have children, I'll not want them to go through a lecturer strike. That's all.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. Karibu sana. I think you have brought in the aspects of high quality of life that I would have wanted to ask, and where you'd want to be in 2063 in terms of, you brought issues of education, equity. He also discussed issues of education also, skills development. But currently, well, what do you feel about, because high quality of life is an important aspect that we saw that every Kenyan should have. Currently, what would you talk about our quality of life? Are we there? Are there successes in terms of high quality of life? What are the gaps? What do you think we can do further? You have given recommendations, but let's move back and try and understand where are we in terms of providing high quality of life for all Kenyans? Maybe let's start from there. And then you can tell us, are there any successes? And what are the key gaps? Anyone can respond.
I think when you talk about quality of life, I feel it's more subjective. I mean, how someone from Kibera slum interprets having high quality of life is not the same way a person from Kilimani will interpret it. Yesterday I attended a certain event at ACCA, and a question was passed across: how do we embrace the job culture? And a pretty interesting answer was given. They said that the government system of Kenya put in the formal education not to prepare people for the jobs. It was to fight illiteracy. So even when you look at quality of life, it's a bit subjective. It depends on many factors: the background, who is your family, who's the environment, and all of that.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. A different view, another view. You can have another view.
For me personally, if we benchmark the current situation with Article, I'm hoping it's 43 of the Constitution, we are not there yet. So not every Kenyan has access to medical care. They don't have access to adequate food and water and sanitation. So I feel we are still lagging behind on that sector.
How can we accelerate achievement of that article? In your opinion, what can we do as a country? Because we have to carry the load as a country, both because we are all government, including you. The government is ours. Yeah. What can we do to accelerate achievement of the quality of life?
Okay, personally, I feel we really do. When you're making plans, we always think about industry, we think roads, but you never think about the actual humans. Like, how do we provide homes for them, or how do we make sure people have adequate employment? So we always think that there's going to be a trickle-down effect, and that never materializes.
Thank you for it. Let's get another view.
Once again, good afternoon. So I think currently we are somewhere, and about the quality of life, as my colleague said, it's relative to what people think. But now we have the statistics and the data which we economists follow. For instance, now when we talk about poverty levels, the poverty levels since the development process of the Vision 2030 have reduced slightly by about 10%, from about 46 to 36% recently. And these are problems that we are still facing as a country. Poverty levels, hunger levels, lack of basic healthcare facilities, education, water and sanitation, which is currently about 66%. We still have a wider gap that needs to be filled. And this wider gap, not that we are not trying to develop, we are, because when it comes to startup funding, Kenya, we are somewhere. In fact, we are leading when it comes to startup funding. But now these poverty levels can be attributed to financial literacy. If we had financial literacy classes, say, in our education system, then I think this will be a broader step that will help the citizens know how to manage their finances, how to invest, and how to also manage their income.
Once again, I'm Ray Harmony, and I think under the Vision 2030 blueprint, I've seen there is a middle income, high quality of life. And I feel it has not been met because of the wide gap between the rich and the poor, which continues to widen. And I think how we can solve this, though it's a common rhetoric, I think we should fight corruption so that each and every shilling counts. Two, I also think that the students from universities and learning institutions are not equipped with the skill set that are required by the job market. Most of them learn, they study, and when they are fresh out of college or campus, their skills do not meet the required by the companies and industries. So I think the government should update or rather work with industries so that the students are equipped with skills that can match their job sets. And also the government should try and stabilize inflation and prices, for example, fuel and food, like other countries. Thank you.
Appreciate him. Thank you very much. Let's get another view.
So, good afternoon, I'm in the morning still. Good afternoon once more. So, I think for me, these are wide challenges that we can't flip a switch and fix them. But we are making like some progress, like with poverty levels, we have them reducing, we have the penetration of mobile, and all those, all the indicators are showing some positivity with some improvements. So I guess what we can do, because they say that as societies progress and as people will demand more from the government, so we can also be thinking about how we diversify, how we get the finances. Like these PPPs, I think they are good ideas which have been tested, but maybe people are not aware of that's why there's some resistance, some kind of resistance. So we can sensitize people on such other ways in which we can raise finances, like the PPPs, we have private equity initiatives. So we can make use of those other diversification ways to source finances to be able to develop. Yeah, so I think we can work on expanding the source of income, so that we don't work on strict and tight budgets. We have at least some space, some fiscal space to be able to tap more and maybe do more without taxing Kenyans or,
Thank you. Thank you, Makau. We have something behind there. There's a team behind there that wanted to say something.
Hi, my name is Myers, And my comment will be, the government has done a good job in opening up the country by like identifying resources in different regions, like the northeastern region. And for those of us who didn't study in Nairobi, the goal when we finished school was, once I finish school, I want to go to Nairobi because there are more opportunities out here. So my suggestion would be, if the government can find ways to make those other regions more attractive to like students. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how we can do that. Maybe, I am sorry for this. But anyway, all I'm trying to say is that if we can find a way to decongest big towns like Nairobi and Mombasa and just make the other cities more attractive to students, it would be nice. That would increase the quality of life. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayas. Thank you for that opinion. And maybe we can give her a response, because that's a question I wanted to ask. We now have devolution, is it? You all come from different counties. How can we make our devolution drive to ensure that we're able to curb rural-urban migration, so that we ensure that those devolved areas also are able to provide opportunities for people to generate livelihoods and generate incomes? What can we do to ensure that our county, so that everyone does not come to Nairobi, the big cities? What do you think we can do to enhance devolution and also to enhance the rural areas to ensure that they are able to create opportunities? What do you think we can do? We have a hand behind there.
I think to curb that, the government could try to invest in building more infrastructures in the rural areas, because many people come to the urban areas. Let's say, for example, in Nairobi is where we have many offices of many industries. So I think by building more infrastructures and offices in the rural areas, it could curb that.
Let's appreciate her. Let's get another opinion.
Hello, my name is Moad. For me, for example, in the health sector, you find there are some people who find it hard to get medical attentions just because they have different cards. Then you find these hospitals, they don't allow some patients to use some of the cards. So you find them hard you find them that they're supposed to go to the town in order to access such cards. So for me, the government has, it's good for them to allow every hospital to use, or to allow patients so that they can use every card they have it.
Thank you for that. Let's get another opinion here.
My name is Tracy Wangoi, and to curb the rural-urban migration, I think the government can ensure that there is salary match. You know, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's a myth or it's fact, but people say that Nairobi's salary is higher than, a rural salary, and to also increase the opportunities in the rural areas. I want to believe that the reason why people are so attracted to Nairobi, it's because it has more opportunities. So if we make the other areas to have the same level, or at least close to the same level that Nairobi has, or opportunities that Nairobi has, it will at least reduce, even if it's not by a large number, but by a small percentage. And to also ensure that those areas, because when you read and you put yourself through a lot of academic pressure, you also want to have a good life. So if these rural areas provide the same lifestyle or quality of life that Nairobi provides, maybe people will be also attracted to go work in rural areas.
Thank you. Let's appreciate her. Let's get a view behind there.
Okay, good afternoon again. I also feel like one thing we can do is diversify economies. I feel we focus, our vision as a country is a little too narrow. For for instance, in the northern frontier, camel rearing can do really well, but I don't think there's an industry right now that does that. So the more we focus, maybe this county is good at fishing, this county is good at camel rearing, then we can get better results that will keep more people in the counties.
So in terms of looking at the key competitive advantage each county or each area has. Eh?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Let's appreciate that. Maybe let me ask one more role, because we have said government, government, government. What role can the private, what is the role, the role of private sector? How can we give incentives to the private sector to better, so that they are able to, because you remember, you see what we had. Ours as a government is to provide a conducive environment. Eh? And you see we had envisioned that this Vision 2030, 30% would be the contribution of government, mostly making the environment better through infrastructure, policy, proper legislation, but the actual implementation, the actual projects by the private sector. How do we bring in the private sector more strongly to support our development or to play a role in the development?
Thank you. Once again, I'm Ray Harmony. I think the government first should identify each economic strength of counties, then that's where the private sector comes in. Once the economic strength has been identified, e.g. we know Turkana for oil, we know counties like Bungoma for the sugar business, and we also know like Kisumu for the lake economy, Mombasa tourism. So once we've identified each economic strength of a county, the private sector should be given incentives so that they can be attracted to these counties, so that these counties become production zones, not consumers. Yeah, that's what I feel the public sector, private sector could do. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe you can give an example of one or two incentives you feel we can give the private sector to ensure that they play a better role.
First, I think the government should look for active industries, and by incentives, like they can be given, I'm not saying tariffs, but favorable policies. And the government can also subsidize most of the things for them. And the government should also work hand in hand with the private sector so that they can have confidence. Then, and for most international industries, they look at the inflation, the GDP. So I think the government should work on that to overall attract these private sector people. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. We had a view behind the, okay. Let's pick yours, then we take it behind there. Medina, you wanted to say something?
Hello guys, I'm Brandon. First, I wanted, the time I was raising my hand, I wanted to answer on the question about, my colleague asked about having more cities. And personally, I think we're looking at it from a wrong perspective. Let's try and remember, since 2020, those who are still in campus, you know, education at the time was primarily online, true? Work was done online. So basically what I'm saying is we don't need to have infrastructure, since by the time 2063 gets there, we'll need offices. People will be working online, people will be working from home. So to actually get those people and connect with them, we don't need to bring them or bring cities to them. We just need to bring the internet to them. They'll be able to, right now you can easily work with anyone, even in New York. We are living in a global village, right? So to answer my colleague, that's one of the solutions that I can, and that's currently under implementation under the last mile connectivity. So towards the fiscal pressure, I had a solution on which will speak towards the private sector, how you can integrate them. So we need to think of ways of diversifying and deepening the capital markets and financial markets. And one way of doing this, by raise of hand, my colleagues here, how many of you are involved or know about anything about shareholding, like owning shares? You also. So at least there's a good number here. So if you followed up on current policies that have been implemented, right now you can own up to 1 share. Previously you had to own a unit which had 100 shares. So that breakdown, that fractional ownership allowed more people to. So that same can be a solution to securities, bonds. They be fractionalized to a point that CC common investors, MSMEs, youth, we can invest in bonds. Because currently, let's talk. How many of you can be able to access bonds? You can't. So that way we can tap into the private sector, tap into the citizens, and they'll all be able to contribute to project implementation. That reduces the fiscal pressure since the government won't have to borrow from outside. We are the ones taking part in the development. It will also give us a sense of ownership and patriotism to our projects, you see. So thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. Let's get one behind there, then we tukuja hapa mbele. Just a brief one.
Yeah. Actually, mine is about devolution. Since we said it's rural-urban relation on devolution, you know, since devolution, some of the government services are devolved, like healthcare, but others are not devolved. For me, I want to take us back to the county level. If we look at, we have a bill at the county, actually. Do you know that? We have a youth bill in the county. Do you know that? We have a youth service bill in the county. And also at the county, we have a budget for youth. The same way, kuna budget zingine. So I think maybe we focus, I think people that they don't have knowledge that we have also a budget in the county level, especially focus on youth and also women and others. So I think maybe one of the things some of the counties are not developing because ukiangalia, this money was allocated and still, especially we'll talk about northern part. Pesa zimeenda wapi? If we talk about road, where I come from, kuna pahali hakuna njia, but still we have devolved system. Why? Ukienda hospitali hakuna dawa. I see maybe it's time to also understand that we have a budget at the county assembly, and we used to focus much on national assembly, so that we also tuelewe we have a budget at the county assembly, which hata wewe lazima ujue hiyo pesa ya youth imeenda kufanyiwa nini. Imeenda kufanyiwa nini, because every financial year tuko na budget ya youth. Imeenda kufanywa nini in your own county level, in your kila county zenu. I just wanted to say that, just accountability for mine.
Thank you. Let's appreciate her. Now, I want us to almost come to a close. But I want to ask one question. How well would you want to be involved in aspects of development plan? How can the young people be better integrated and better involved in aspects of development planning, implementation, aspects of mountain evaluation? What is your opinion? How else? Because you're in that demographic age, how would you want to be involved better? Let's get about three or so.
Okay, thank you once again. My name is Berry Lotema. One way of involving the youth would be like institutionalizing platforms like these Ruwaza platforms. Maybe we could have it at national level. Another way would be basically just doing follow-ups on matters we have done this and this and this, keeping us updated on how far we have reached, let me say, with this vision and maybe sensitization. Yeah, thank you.
Let's appreciate her. Thank you. Let's get one then we'll behind there.
For me, I think we can just allow, like on media and online, social media, we can just allow everybody to say whatever they have to say. You don't have to feel offended by whatever someone is saying. Like, we should allow free speech, yeah? And then from that, we're able to filter. Take what is important, trash the rest. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. I'll also come and ask one last issue on national values. And remember, we need the national value system. as we close on how to be involved. Yes.
Okay, actually, for me, he did take my point, but I feel we can informalize the process a little bit more. It feels a little too formal. For instance, you have to put an email submission and everything, and maybe that locks out a lot of the youth. So if it's a little bit more casual, then I think that will make it easier for especially the common mwananchi.
Thank you.
I can talk of about increasing abroad opportunities, whether internships or studies, because you find you're able to explore other countries' way of managing their economy, like China. If you go there for a few months, you learn a few things, come back here, implement it, because we say there's no original idea, only an original execution plan. So increasing abroad opportunities for the youth.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. One more burning one. Moja moto. Ama burning is not moto. One.
I'm Ray Harmony, and I think the youth should be involved. There should be a platform where they can openly critique and give out suggestions. Then two, I feel they should be sensitized because yes, the constitution covers all demographics, including the youth, but the youth are unaware of these things. For example, in tenders and contracts, there's this clause known as AGPO, where 30% of all tenders and contracts should be awarded to the youth, but they don't know. So how will they tap into it yet they don't know? So I think they should be told, they should be sensitized to be able to know that there are some aspects they can take advantage of and turn into. Then there's things like Ajira, Uwezo Fund, which the government has developed. I feel like most of this money, or rather the capital put into these projects, do not reach the youths. I don't think the youths are supported by these programs. They're just there for show. So I feel the youth should be included. Those programs, when they're being formed, youths should be included and they should hold a larger percentage so that it works for them, by them. And I feel also that they should create something where the youth can openly talk, because I feel most of the people in these seats are old-timers, not in a bad way. Yeah, and youths are more creative and they're more vibrant. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. I want to close here because of time, because this is an initial engagement, but I'll allow two burning issues, general issues. You can talk about any particular issue. Just have just two, then we close, then we will continue engaging after this. Thank you.
Good afternoon once more. I think to answer on that, how to involve our youths, maybe it's actually to strengthen the capacity in our academia. How can we embed maybe the national planning, like the vision now, we put it in our curriculum so that the youths can develop interest on the national planning and also the global, like right now we have the Saudi Vision 2030. Most of our youth doesn't know their successes, their challenges. We have the Korea Vision. We have another plan for Rwanda. How can we explore those visions through our academies? Again, to answer on the question on, I think there is someone about debt sustainability, about these projects. Maybe you can focus on offshore balance sheet financing. You've heard of securitization. Those are maybe modern ways for now we can go away from our traditional borrowing. The issue of wasteful spending, I think we need also to focus. We stop wasteful spending, and also the zero budget-based planning, where we budget and we expend based on that budget. There was an issue about the new vision, Agenda 2063. We need also to explore the opportunities in our global space, like the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We are not doing much on that. The new vision actually needs to integrate how can we leverage the opportunities existing in our Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and also the AGOA, the Africa Growth Opportunities Act of the US, whereby Africa are actually praying for US to accept so that we can export our apparels. Those are the opportunities we need to include in our new vision. The issue of AI adoption, most of our comrades here have talked of, we need to adopt that. About the climate resilience programs, about the green infrastructure, the energy, from the traditional thermal and the hydro, we need to move on to renewable. In Vision 2030, we had focused on energy, green energy access. By 2030, maybe we are at 100%. But how can we now leverage on that going towards 2063? The issue of that Maya spoke of decongesting our urban centers. That is talking of smart cities. That is where we are heading, about the Konza, about the Tatu City, the Naivasha Industrial Park. That is how now we need to identify opportunities there to help decongest. There was an issue about devolution. How can we grow the economy areas, development? We have an opportunity existing about the county industrial parks. Are our counties prepared to utilize those structures? If they can be utilized, I think they can grow their gross country economies. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's have, there was one more here.
Okay, my question is on geopolitics. Given that we are living in an age where the geopolitical situation is changing very rapidly, there's war in Europe, Israeli war, China is rising and all that. For Vision 2030 and Vision 2060, how are you planning to absorb the, also take advantage of the opportunities of this?
Is it a question or a statement?
It's a question.
Okay. How do you want us to do it? Remember I said we are generating ideas. How do you want us to do it?
I also don't have any idea.
Any of the panel members, how do you want us to take advantage of the geopolitical situation, global and region, to be able to leverage on that, to be able to, how do you take that into consideration?
To answer my colleague, I would suggest adopting, it may seem a bit radical, but adopting a protectionist narrative. Like that's how you are saying US imposing tariffs on countries. They're trying to move away from reliance from other people. So to ensure that we are not affected, or maybe the effects are minimal, if we are self-sustained, like we can produce our own, like regardless of any war or any impact from global, it won't really cause such a, and one of those to that is, you know, our currency is pegged on the dollar, right? I'm sure we are economists, so we know this. So anything that happens in the US economically trickles down to us. So freeing our currency from that and pegging it to, or not even pegging it, you can, there are so many ways. I'm sure we are all comrades here, so you know about decentralized finance, cryptocurrencies. How about we think of venturing into that as a financial leeway? That way we are dependent on our own. Our manufacturing, maybe that's where we may suffer a bit, but having proper industries and manufacturing agencies in our country, we're able to be free of the geopolitical effects. So, thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him. You have got an opinion. I'm also an economist, but I will not give you a response. I will give this as a recommendation for further research. Go and research. Vice Chair, is this Vice Chair or Vice President? Vice Chair is here. Consolidate your views on that, because it's an important issue on how to integrate geopolitics into development planning. It needs deep research. His idea is, I'm not putting it away, it's a good idea. But we need broader research on how we can look at that. Just go and do some deep research. Come up with ideas. Let's develop 1 or 2 or 3 papers. Let's create another forum. We have a discussion, a 1-hour forum. We try and break down the issue of geopolitics and its impact on the economy and on development planning. Sindio? So hiyo ni homework mmepewa. Because that now gives us an opportunity to meet further and engage further. So I would want to appreciate all of you. We want to stop there in terms of questions. We'll continue engaging. Sindio? We have known each other, we'll continue engaging. So I want to allow your team, I know that it is you, Vice Chair, or you appoint someone, to give the last word, maybe a vote of thanks from your side. Then we'll allow our Director, ED, to close. And he will tell you maybe in case we are to meet further on how we can, in future, continue engaging. So, Madam Vice Chair, guide on, it is you to pick or yourself to give a vote of thanks in the last words. Then we'll invite Director ED give the closing remarks. Karibu sana.
Thank you thank you so much. I really want to invite a very important person. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't be here in this session. I want to give this privilege to Alex Maina to give a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon once again. I believe we've all had a productive session. My name is Alex Maina. I'm in charge of the linkages department for the association. That is the corporate visits and all the corporate partnerships. My appreciation to the Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat for engaging us, for accepting our proposal, for accepting to host us today. I believe that most of us have learned something. Most of us now have a vision. You know, carrying the blueprint of the country, carrying the vision of the country, it's not something that it's light. It's something that, these are people who carry heavy burdens on their shoulders, right? And we've seen preparedness in the way they have conducted us. They have been hospitable enough. And ours is to thank you, Suleiman. Mr. Timothy is here. I talked to you some weeks past before this. And they have been very helpful in the organization of this. It has not been an easy task, but at last here we are. We have had a productive session. We have been engaged so well. I hope that all our expectations have been met, right? Have they been met? Are you sure? Are you sure? Have they been met? Yeah, I really do hope so. I hope you've learned something, and I hope that you're also going to interact with them further, maybe even when this session ends. Mine is to also thank each and every one of you for being available. Thank you for being punctual today. We had some little issues, but finally we are here, and we thank God for bringing us all here safe and sound. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you so much for being available. Thank you so much for setting this place for us. You've been so hospitable, and we look forward to future interactions with you. Now, we also have a task. We've been given an opportunity to research about the geopolitics of our country, that is the opportunities that are there and how we can align ourselves as a country. We have a research department with us within the association, and I believe that we are going to take that up. Gitonga is the deputy of that department, so you've been assigned to Gitonga. We are going to take that up. Maybe in the future, we can collaborate in making that research broader. We are going to do our part, and now we can see how we can dwell in that partnership. Thank you so much, and have a blissful day. Asanteni.
Thank you. Let's appreciate him very well. Maybe Getonga will also take advantage of you again. You know, I'm also a researcher. Go deeper, and also with your team. Just try and think of an economic model for the country. Moving into the future, just go and crack your minds. Try and think of the variables that we can have. Try and think of what objectives we can achieve moving into the future, because it is an important aspect that we will be discussing as we move into the next long-term plan. Go and think about that. Go and think about geopolitics. Go and think about the economic model. Then let's have a discussion also in future and see how we can also further discuss it. We can even come to KU. Sio lazima mkuje hapa peke yake. We can also visit you there. So those are two aspects. Just look at them. Then we'll discuss. So thank you, team, and we really appreciate you also for visiting us. So now it's my pleasure to invite Director Id. come and give this team the closing remarks and maybe way forward. Thank you very much.
Na kwa hayo mengi, asante. Umefanya kazi mzuri. Are you happy? Yeah? I just want to ask, have you been frustrated? Frustrated here? Okay. Another way of asking that is that, what is frustration? Simple definition of frustration is what? Disappointment with what? Can I give you a simple definition of frustration? Frustration is the difference between expectation and real achievement. If you were expecting to get an A, now umepata B, that difference is what? Now, there is something that you are expecting and what you've achieved. Have you gotten it? And that is why I'm asking, have you been frustrated between what you're expecting and your real achievement? Have we met your expectations? Thank you. I know this is just the beginning. Yes? There is, mtu alisema the sky is not the limit. Our destiny lies above the skies. Sindio? And we are going, you heard the president talking about that Kenya will become a first world by the year 2025. And we are talking also of, we are thinking of Vision 2063. And therefore you should jog your minds around those. Everybody is futuristic, where we want the country to go. As economists, you need, as you are thinking about this, because you are going to play a significant role in the development of this country going forward, think of issues to do with the Pareto principle. How many of you know about Pareto principle? Pareto principle, yeah? Where you deploy to achieve. And that one has been tested and tried. For example, the Big Four agenda, currently we are planning key 5 areas of this government, because sometimes you, as economists, you have to prioritize. You pick a few things to drive the economy. So zingine zinafuata. You cannot just carry everything and everybody. Sawa. Even in your teams, kuna wale wenye wanaitwa laggards, si ndio? Yeah? Early adopters, yeah? Kama umefanya stories za innovation, kuna wale early adopters, mid adopters, and then the laggards, wale wa. So you need to think about all those things. I just want to throw something about regional and global perspectives in development. When you are doing this, know that whatever is happening around the region and globally affects the planning. For example, what is happening in Russia, Ukraine? Are you aware it is affecting us here? Yes, so you just need to jog your mind. I think regionally, what is happening around? Globally, what is happening around? Sometimes back you heard that fuel prices were increasing because of the war. Yeah? Those big tankers could not pass through the Suez Canal, and so on and so forth. Food prices, prices of food items escalated because maybe the wheat, we could not import wheat. Yeah? So what is happening in one country definitely has a significant effect on our country. So, at this juncture, I just want to say thank you very much. It was an awesome meeting you. You have brilliant ideas, you have brilliant mind, and you know, sometimes you are just brilliant, but you are timid. Courage, mtu wangu. Courage, yeah? I can refer you to this YouTube channel. They are discussing issues to do with Engage. I've seen clips, za Jalango. How many of you have seen that? Engage, yes? Jalango, Willis, Nyongo, and the courage, mtu wangu. Unaweza kuwa na brilliant idea, but when you are timid, who will ever know? Yeah? You have to dress up, Walk out and show yourself and demonstrate what you can do for your country. Sawa sawa. So just don't sit there ukifikiri that kuna watu wengine watafanya. It is you. Let it start with you, and we'll make it as a country. I reiterate, as economists, you hold a very, very, very important place in the economy of this country and in the development of this country. You have the opportunity to steer this country to where it needs to be. So as you are sitting in classes, you need to explore opportunities out there. You know, here we are now giving you the real life situation. Maybe whatever you've been doing in class and all that, class or theory, but here now comes to practical. Ukikuja hapa now we tell you how these things are being done practically. Sawa sawa? Yes. So start thinking, put yourself, yeah? What can I do for my country? And you know, some of these things starts at household level. Before you go to the farm, see, ukisoma kuna household level na farm level. Watu wangu. Don't you remember this? Kuna household before you go to Sindio. Otherwise, thank you very much. I know we'll be engaging further. Reach out to the contacts that you have, and we are open. Just as Timothy has said, we cannot just restrict this one here. We can even come to KU and hold this. And we are looking for enhanced forums where we can invite 2-3 universities so that we have that cocktail of ideas. Sawa sawa? Me, my idea alone, maybe haiwezi ikasaidia pakubwa sana, but when we combine, yule akuja na idea yake, mwingine akuja nayo, then we subject it to rigorous testing. Then we come up with refined ideas that can be able to propel this country to greater heights. Sawa sawa. So, asanteni sana. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, so I've been informed that we'll give you some materials here so that when you go back, you can be able to refer to them. Nowadays, information is at fingertips. I know I tell people, fingertips. You just Google something here and you get everything. AI, whatever you want, you'll get it. So don't be shy. Explore the sky. Our destiny lies above the skies. Cindy? Yes. So with that, I just want to say thank you, and we've come to the close of this forum. Looking forward to meet you in another big forum where we'll maybe engage you on a deeper forum, including other institutions, so that we can have a gel of brilliant minds. Asanteni sana.
Let's clap for Director Eddy once more time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a photo. We need to